President Trump has signed legislation requiring his administration to release files on convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. This new law requires the Justice Department to release all files and communications related to Epstein within 30 days.
Donald Trump's 1 a.m. meltdown after being forced to sign the Epstein files release bill was one of the most desperate things we've ever seen from him. And that says a lot. The moment that pen hit the paper, the moment his own party abandoned him, something in Trump snapped. And at 1 a.m., instead of acting like a president, he posted this on his social media that shocked the whole world and exposed who he really is deep inside. And all this chaos didn't just happen out of nowhere. It exploded the moment Trump signed the order. Not even minutes later, he jumped online and went absolutely unhinged, calling for Democrats to be executed. Yes, you heard that correctly. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not twisting anything. He said it. That's how rattled he is. That's how terrified he is of what's inside those files. And you need to see the clip for yourself to understand just how far off the rails he went.
The President of the United States just called for Democratic members of Congress to be executed. This is not normal. We cannot allow this to feel normal. This, as far as I know, has never happened before in the history of the country. Every Democratic member of the Senate and the House, their life is in jeopardy right now, especially those that were specifically targeted by this social media post. Democratic senators and House members who were simply saying that no member of the military should act illegally or in violation of the Constitution. The President of the United States just called for members of Congress to be executed. If you are a person of influence in this country, maybe it's time to pick a fucking side. If you are a Republican in Congress, if you are a Republican governor, maybe it's time to draw a line in the sand and say that under no circumstances should the President of the United States be calling on his political opposition to be hanged. We are at a very dangerous moment right now. The President is engaged in the wholesale incitement, endorsement, and rationalization of political violence in this country. This is a very slippery slope that we are on. This is a moment for people to step up, for Republicans to step up, for business leaders to step up. Anybody who has a voice or a soapbox in this country needs to draw a line in the sand and say that it is not acceptable for the President of the United States to call on the murder of his political opposition.
And this right here is the real reason Trump is terrified. And trust me, you won't believe it when you see it. Because he isn't just mentioned in the Epstein files. He isn't just connected to Epstein socially. According to multiple witnesses and previously buried testimony, his name appears in connection with minors, including a 13-year-old girl tied directly to Epstein's network. This is why he's panicking. This is why he's melting down at 1 a.m. Just watch these clips.
I'm going to be honest with you guys. I actually went through the files this weekend in depth. Donald Trump is not only named over and over in them, it is discussed this trial in which he was accused of raping a 13-year-old at Epstein's house. There is extensive discussions about a subpoena of Donald Trump in one of Jeffrey Epstein's cases in which he was accused for rape and sexual abuse. He was subpoenaed and gave a deposition in that case. There is extensive discussion between Donald Trump, Ghislaine Maxwell, and Mr. Wolf about not only Trump coming to his house, but Epstein says in these emails that he has photographs of Trump with girls.
And if there are still people out there who think this man had no connection to Epstein, just watch this. NBC made a full documentary on Trump nearly a decade ago, and the footage they used goes all the way back to the 1990s. It shows him surrounded by young girls, bragging about his access, jumping from wife to wife, and openly cheating without shame. This isn't speculation. This isn't political spin. This is archived footage from a major network, long before Epstein's name was even a scandal. Here, watch it for yourself.
Donald Trump is the Hugh Hefner of the 90s.
In the 1990s, Donald Trump was building a reputation for himself as a ladies' man.
For an older person, he's very attractive. he may be the most eligible bachelor in America. Please welcome Donald Trump.
Gone were the days when he was known primarily as the real estate mogul of New York.
Remember the 80s? The yuppies, the buyouts, the junk bonds, and especially the Donald.
The man who was the darling of the 80s is seen in the 90s as a man in trouble, and he knows it.
The drama started when Donald began cheating on his wife, Ivana Trump, with aspiring actress Marla Maples. After an ugly public falling out, Donald and Ivana divorced in 1992, with some reports that Ivana got millions from the split.
Donald Trump's former or current girlfriend, depending on what day it is sharing all her secrets for staying in shape.
Donald eventually married Marla, 2 months after she gave birth to a baby girl. But by the end of the decade, Trump was single again, and he seemed to enjoy the dating scene.
The reputation of Donald Trump, the man who dates a different woman every year.
I don't do that. I mean, I've been with a number of women, but it's been over a fairly long period of time. I've had great relationships with women.
If you could have your choice, who would be the one person you'd date?
Wow.
Or who are the three most beautiful women in the world?
Well, how about Lady Di? That would be an interesting one. She's going to be available for
What kind of women
not
do
my
you
choice.
like?
I think my choice might be you. Look at the legs on her. Boy. Good for you.
Can you imagine how controversial I'd be? You think about Clinton with the women. How about me with the women? Can you imagine?
Well, I mean, I think there is a certain controversy to me, and I am single, and I do go out with women.
While his family life may have been on the rocks, his business empire was crumbling.
The headline was quite accurate. Welcome to the 90s, Donald. Because it was like he got whacked right in the face. It was amazing.
Trump opened his third casino in Atlantic City in April 1990.
Lasers, fireworks, and miles of neon lights provided the color as Trump opened the Taj Mahal Casino Hotel in Atlantic City.
And if you think any of this is a coincidence, it's not. This was a strategic plan planted by Donald Trump a long time ago, a game he thought he could control forever. But for the first time, the cards didn't fall his way. The timing backfired. The pressure exploded. And now, millions of Americans are about to see exactly who these people really are. And just watch what Fox News host Jessica Tarlov had to say about this madness.
But this idea that the Epstein files is going to be reframed as a Democratic hoax is never going to work. The American public is not cool with it. What does he have? Trump has a minus 39 approval on handling the Epstein files, and only 45% of Republicans even approve at this point. The narrative about Hakeem Jeffries, everyone at this table knows how fundraising emails work. So that email was from someone named Lisa Rossi, who's from a random fundraising group called Dynamic SRG, asking if Epstein wants to go to a generic DCCC dinner that Obama and Jeffries were going to be at. There was never any meeting. There was never any donation. And he appears one time in the Epstein files. By the Miami Herald's count, Trump is mentioned over 1,000 times in the latest tranche that just got out. And people are not going to forget that in 2002, for instance, Trump said, "I've known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy. He's a lot of fun to be with." It's even said he likes beautiful women as much as I do. And many of them are on the younger side. I have never alleged, and I am not alleging now, that Donald Trump has done anything untoward with an underage woman. But if you want to be throwing around single emails from a random fundraising group to try to make Brooklyn Barack look bad and not acknowledge how many times Donald Trump is mentioned in these files, you're just going to look dumb. And I would encourage everyone to not look dumb.
But it's other people mentioning him. It's not his fault when people want to get him.
I just read a quote.
But that was one quote, but other people are mentioning it to stop him. They're like, the other person, they were all trying to stop Trump.
Why did he want the files to not come out this badly? Why? Just tell me why.
Why do you always fall for this stuff is the bigger question.
Happening again. This is Russia, Ukraine, everything.
I don't think this is
And just as a reminder, this was Kash Patel's response, the same tired, panicked answer he's given for the 100th time when asked about the Epstein files. Every single time he's confronted, he hesitates, he dodges, he stalls, yet somehow he still pretends he's fighting for transparency. In reality, he's been doing absolutely nothing.
No credible information. None. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked to other individuals. And the information we have, again, is limited.
So the answer is no one?
For the information that we have.
In the files?
In the case file.
Okay.
Meanwhile, the GOP is crumbling, and the Democrats are stacking hard, undeniable evidence day after day. And when Trump tried to spin his latest meltdown on social media, they, meaning Chuck Schumer and his team, fired back instantly. This was their response to Trump's latest tweets.
Mr. President,
Democrat leaders recognized.
Earlier today, Donald Trump shared a post on Truth Social calling for Democratic members of Congress to be hanged. He also posted a message that said, seditious behavior, punishable by death. Let's be crystal clear. The President of the United States is calling for the execution of elected officials. This is an outright threat, and it's deadly serious. We've already seen what happens when Donald Trump tells his followers that his political opponents are enemies of the state. Every time Donald Trump posts things like this, he makes political violence more likely. None of us should tolerate this kind of behavior. We all remember what January 6th was like. We lived through January 6th. We have lived through the assassination and attempted assassinations this year. We have members whose families have had to flee their homes. When Donald Trump uses the language of execution and treason, some of his supporters may very well listen. He is lighting a match in a country soaked with political gasoline. Every senator, every representative, every American, regardless of party, should condemn this immediately and without qualification. Because if we don't draw a line here, there is no line left to draw. Who would have thought the President of the United States saying his opponents should be hanged? It's outrageous. No president has ever stooped as low as Donald Trump. None. He has made political violence a feature of his politics. And if we don't draw a line here, there's no line left to draw. And yet today, he crossed yet another line that no democracy can afford to tolerate. He must be condemned forcefully, loudly, and without excuses before someone takes his words as permission to do the unthinkable. Anything less enables the flames of hatred to grow and spread.
And all of this spirals back to the same problem he cannot escape, the Epstein files. Every meltdown, every lie, every midnight rant, it all comes from fear. Fear of what's inside those documents. Fear of what he knows is coming. Fear of losing control of a cover-up he's been managing for decades. And now, with the House and Senate tearing away his protection, with members of his own party turning their backs, with the survivors demanding justice, Trump can't hide anymore. America is finally seeing the real Donald Trump. The man behind the tantrums, behind the lies, behind the panic. And when everything is stripped away, the truth is all that remains.